welcome and thank you for joining me. How are you?
Thank you, Rosa. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. So I love your slogan, marriage is grand, divorce, 100 grand. Tell me a little bit about that.
um, I basically have it to discourage people from thinking divorce is a good solution. So, I think a lot of people in my profession kind of milk it in the wrong way. So,
Right.
Everyone's capitalizing off divorce because, when an estate is divided, grubby hands can come in. So I actually don't like that. And I remind people that divorce is very expensive. And frankly, I don't think it's worth it. It's easier to work on your marriage instead of dividing everything, messing up the kids, and I also, I'm a believer. I think you are too. I also just try to remind them, like, marriage is God's plan and God hates divorce. So when people come to me, I try really hard to talk them out of the divorce.
Got it.
And then if they still want to go, I will take their case, but only if it's within the confines of what I take.
No solution, pretty much. So
Right.
what is it? Walk me through the steps that you take when you have a case that you know for sure there's nothing but let's just go to the route of divorcing. So what's your process?
So if the couple has already gone through counseling and they have made the decision to divorce, what they can do is they can hire me to be their mediator.
Okay.
So in those cases, I don't represent either of them.
Okay.
Because the law does not allow you to represent opposing sides.
Correct.
Okay. So in that case, I don't represent either. I just go in and then we're just trying to reach an agreement so I can draft it up and get it filed with the courts.
Okay. So you are located where?
Pasadena.
You are in Pasadena.
Yes.
Oh, excellent. And what is the name of your practice?
Law and Mediation Offices of Kelly Chang.
Perfect. So you just said to me that you will typically mediate first before you go into, or is there a two-step process?
There isn't. So right now, I do representation or mediation.
Okay.
If I mediate your case and it doesn't settle, then you have to go and both of them have to hire new attorneys. I can no longer be the litigation.
Got it. It will be a conflict of interest, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Sometimes people call me and I take very few cases, but there are some cases that fit my profile.
Right.
For representing them. Usually it's like a collaborative case where the couple, like, my client needs representation, has agreed with his or her spouse that they will proceed amicably, but both of them want attorneys.
Right.
In that case, I will come in and represent one party.
Kelly, what do you advise a couple that are having issues? Oftentimes you get all discombobulated, for lack of better words, when you feel like there's no way out, but there is a way out. So what do you advise your clients when they come to you, knowing that there's still love in there? What do you say to them?
Well, I always say, like, if you try to use like the world's solutions to fix the world's problems, it's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it seems like you have no way out, just go up. And by up, I mean like pray.
Right.
So I pray. And I would say sometimes people are like, the couple that blanks together stays together.
Right.
That blank has always to be pray. Like, the couple that prays together stays together. So I do have clients that are Christian that still end up divorced, but it's because divorce is a two-way street. You got to have two people with a similar goal. And a lot of times they don't. And that's why.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say, like, don't try to listen to your friends that are divorced. Don't listen to like the world's bad advice about like, you do you only live once. I'm not in love anymore. Like, that's all like BS.
Right.
Because I had a guy a few years ago, he was married for 60 years. I mean, he had 3 grown kids, 8 grandkids. And he came in and he, the consult usually goes through, they don't have custody because the kids are grown. The issue of support would only be alimony because it's a long-term marriage and she doesn't work. And then it would be alimony and then division of property. So, 60 years accumulation. So we're going through it. And at the end, I'm like, but why are you doing this? And he's like, well, my high school sweetheart, I found her on Facebook. And like, I just, she's in love with me. But, she still has to get divorced. And so I'm like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, really, like, let's think about this, You have a beautiful family. He's like, well, I just, there's that spark and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, the spark is there, but clearly it ends, right? Because it ended once before. So I basically talked him out of the divorce and I never heard from him. But 2 years later, maybe it wasn't 2 years, maybe it was 1 year. I get a call. I never talked to this lady. It was his wife. She ends up calling my assistant, because I don't answer the phone. I'm not supposed to be talking to her anyway, but she's like, we have a conflict. We consulted with your husband. And she was like, yeah, I know. I found Kelly's folder. And she was like, there was scripture in there. It was like Philippians 4:6, it was like, think of everything that's pure, that's kind, that's good. Think about these things. Because I usually tell my clients, like when you're going through divorce, you're going to think some nasty thoughts. And, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be thrown at you, but you just have to remain calm. Because all that is exterior, but you got to be calm in here for your kids, for your sanity. So I usually give them like scripture to think about goodness and, the fruits of the spirit.
Of course.
The good and the kind, not the evil of the world.
Right.
And so, yeah, she found it. And she said that he came home from the consult totally changed. And yeah,
I'm glad you say our marriage.
Yeah. And she's like, I've never heard of a divorce lawyer saving people's marriages. Yeah. And then my assistant was like, you got to hear this one. And I'm like, wow, no one's ever going to believe me.
That's true.
Yeah.
So question for you. The steps to take once they are about to go on that route and hire you, what do you want them to be ready with when they come to you?
So if the couple is coming to me with divorce mediation, I will usually prep them. So before they mediate with me, I'll send out documents with the preliminary declaration of disclosure packet. Okay. And it'll tell them like, we're going to go through, if you have minor children, custody, so have like some sort of, we're going to discuss all the parenting plans. And then I need your pay stubs so I can calculate support. Okay. Like recent pay stubs. Okay. And then I will ask for like all the statements for all the assets and the debts. Got it. The mortgage statements, bank statements, brokerage statements, retirement accounts, just bring everything. Financials, yeah. Yep. Excellent. And then, so if they're able to do that, because, the procedure of divorce is kind of confusing, and so it's like, I don't know what to do. So as a mediator, I get them together and first we have a talk about what, how we're going to divide things. After we reach the agreement, that's when I draft everything. Got it. So yeah, mediation is far more effective and fast and efficient and cheaper than litigation, which is like fighting. And you can fight for, for years. For years, yeah. That's true. I've seen some cases. So Kelly, thank you so much. If someone wants to hire you, where do they reach you? They can go to my website, Purpose Driven Lawyers, and you can schedule yourself a consult because that's the first step. Or you can talk to my assistant, and then she'll schedule you. What's your number? 626-765-5767. Kelly, you are wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rosa. See you soon. Take care. Good seeing you.